Welcome to the CHCH Newsmakers podcast. I'm Rick Zamperin. For 40 years, she's brought you stories from Hamilton, Halton, Niagara, and beyond. Today's guest has covered all kinds of stories, and all while connecting with the CHCH audience, who've respected her professionalism, admired her sense of humor, and treasured her love for the community. Please join me in welcoming Annette Hamm to the Newsmakers podcast. Well, look at here.
Well, hi, Rick Zamperin. It seems so weird to have you use my last name.
Yeah. So you're retiring.
Oh, you've heard.
This is the news
yes.
that has been it was broken a few months ago. Why now?
So I knew that I could go last year. Our financial advisor had told my husband and I that, you're good to go whenever. And I'm like, but I'm coming up on my 40 years at the station. And that was in May. And it was on a Sunday. And I thought, had it been on a Friday or anything, like I would have done, like that would have been my day. Yeah. But I'm like, I don't want to retire like before or like a day after.
Right.
So I thought, I've always liked the summer. So the first day of summer is going to be my first day of vacation.
Well deserved.
Thank you.
40 years in an industry as volatile as media. Did
Yes.
you think it would last that long?
I did not. And I've seen so many colleagues, so many friends of mine not be able to do their own goodbye and to last as long in the business that they love. So it's that fact is not lost on me.
Right. Are you planning your goodbyes? Are they kind of rolling around in your head? Have you thought about what you're going to say? Or?
A bit,
Yeah.
and every time I run through it in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm not crying because I'm a crier. And I cry at all kinds of silly things.
Right.
But I'm like, I can't I catch myself smiling. So I think I've made the right time of choice.
Nice. Let's go, I was going to say way back. Let's go back.
Way back.
In history.
It's okay.
Annette as a kid, what were you like as a child?
Really quiet, a bookworm.
Mm-hmm.
And went to, I grew up in a really small community, went to schools that, like my elementary school, I think at its height might have had 200 students.
Wow.
My high school had no more than 500 students.
Mm-hmm.
So always and then I came to the big city to go to school at Mohawk, and it was like, oh, wow, it was a big culture shock for me.
Yeah. Where did your love for books begin?
I don't know. I think it's because my parents were both readers, are both readers. And I remember I still have a clear memory of getting a Dr. Seuss book set.
Okay.
And I might have been in kindergarten.
Yeah.
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, my first book.
And the rest is history.
And the rest is history, yeah.
So take us to Mohawk College now. You're in the journalism program, you're in the radio program. Why'd you go in that direction?
I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Okay. All I knew is, so I grew up on a tobacco farm, then we moved off that farm and I worked in tobacco every single summer from when I was 13 to when I started here, actually. And I'm like, I don't know what I want to do, but I want to dress up and I want to work in an office because tobacco is very dirty work and you're outside for most of the time, right? And I just remember being in a field one day and thinking, I was covered in gum and dirt, and it was like, I'd really like to just dress up for us.
And that was it.
That wasn't why I decided to go, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. But it turned out that I got to do a job where I saw so many different jobs, especially as a reporter. Like every single day, you're almost becoming not an expert, but you're kind of exposed to a different job, a different way of life. A different circumstance.
Yeah, you get a taste of how they're living and how...
And it's a real education.
Yeah, absolutely. So were there anyone while you're at Mohawk College, anyone in the business that you admired and said, I want to be like that person?
No, because when... I was taking broadcast journalism at Mohawk, and sadly, of course, that doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. The whole media department doesn't exist anymore. But our first year was radio. Our first semester, rather, was radio. The second was TV. And I wanted to be a writer. And people came in from what at that time was broadcast news, BN.
Yep.
And I thought, that would be a cool job to write for a news service like that. And then the job came up at CH. They were taking student interns in, and
wow. So what was the first job at CH? Writing for the news department?
it was writing, and I was something called the satellite monitor.
Okay, so what's that?
It's so like, we have feeds coming in all the time now, right?
Yeah.
But at the time, we had satellites that came in at a certain time of day, and they would come in from Atlantic Canada, they would come in from Ottawa, and they would come in from Winnipeg as well. And somebody had to literally go to we had these giant tapes, and you'd have to put it in a machine and hit record.
Okay.
And then you'd have to get the ins and out cues of the stories that were sent, and then you'd have to write them up for the writer or the producer. So that's what I did.
And how long did you do that for?
So I did that all my second year at Mohawk, and then it just evolved into like a part-time writing job on the weekend, and then I became a secretary.
Wow.
Confidential secretary was my title, and that was more my news director at the time. He was awesome, and he's like, I don't have anything full-time right now, but I really need some help.
Yeah.
So I did that.
So how did that morph into a job in the newsroom?
So that became, I was only like a secretary for about 8 months, and I was awful at it. I don't know why. Because I'm like, I didn't know shorthand. I'm like, I don't know how to do all this stuff. But it made me become very attentive and listen to things, because I would take minutes for meetings and that kind of thing. So I remember, and I don't remember whether I was back as a writer or what I was doing, but there was a call on the police scanner about a fire. And it happened to be the townhouse right across from me from where I was living downtown. And it was a really awful fire. And so I went there with a camera guy, and it was like, okay, we'll see what you can get. And I'm like, oh, this is bad. So we radioed in, because we had like almost like walkie-talkies, and they're like, okay, well, this is, if you've got enough, do your interviews and pack it up. So that became my first report.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that scary? Was it invigorating? What were the emotions that you were feeling?
It wasn't scary until I got back in the newsroom and realized what I had to do. And it's like, oh, wow, because I'd watched other reporters do it. So I kind of, I had an idea of what to do. And the camera guy that I was with, he really helped me. And, he kind of took the reins of like, okay, I'm going to introduce you to the fire chief, and I'm going to, all of that kind of thing.
Right, because he had done many of those, or seen it been done.
Yes. Yeah.
So now you're in the CHCH newsroom. There's some big personalities in this room. What was that like?
It was awesome. And I had a desk. We had quads of desks. They were huge, huge desks. And I was paired with Kathy Renwald.
Okay.
And she was my huge mentor, because she knew how to make a story out of anything. She was a fabulous writer, and just really, really good at time management, like not working right up to the deadline, but working before then.
Right.
So that if something else comes up, you can go do that.
Yeah. And as I would assume, like as the assignments came your way, the confidence really built from there on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it took a long time though. And I've seen some of my early stuff, and I'm like, whose voice is that? It sounds like a 12-year-old.
Now, do you have a favorite reporting assignment or something that really sticks out to you as a career highlight?
I really loved being the crime reporter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did that for a long time, and I would carry around a scanner, and I love the adrenaline rush of it.
Because that could erupt at any time.
Yes,
There's no scheduled news conference. Like, crime is crime. It's going to happen.
Crime is crime. And I think that's actually where I first met you.
Yes.
Because we used to go to the police station every morning. Instead of coming to our newsrooms, we'd go to the police station. They'd read off a list of, like, here's what happened, or here's what's coming up kind of thing. And
Yeah, and I remember we'd all debate, that's not a story we'd cover, or that's an interesting one. Let's get some more on that.
Yeah, and then we had a lot of fun.
We did have a lot of fun.
We did have a lot of fun.
Was there a story that maybe you didn't think was going to turn out well, and it did? It surprised you, whether it was a reporting assignment or something that you just covered?
So because I was kind of like, there weren't senior reporters and junior reporters, but I was the youngest one. And so there was, I remember we had an assignment meeting, and our assignment editor was like, there's this fire, but it started last night, so it's probably going to be out. go and see what it is anyways. And it was the Hagersville tire fire. And it did not go out.
No.
It went for 18 days. And even so, the camera guy that I went out there with, he was kind of this, he's seen it all, nothing, and why are we going out here kind of thing. And then as we're getting closer to Hagersville from Hamilton, it's like, is that smoke from that fire? And then as we got him, even he was like in awe of the size and enormity of this fire.
Now, were you back there every day, or how did that
no,
go down?
because so I had to go to somebody's house to call because we were out of radio range at that point.
Right.
And I had to go to somebody's house and call and say, like, this is really, really big. So then I got back, and I don't know whether they believed me or not that it was that big. And then they saw the video, and then all of a sudden, other reporters were like clamoring to.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I never got to go back on it again because the much more seasoned reporters went back on it.
We've had some huge stories in the city from that fire, which
Plastomet fire.
Yeah, Plastomet, obviously, sports teams coming and going, political upheaval. Apart from crime, did you gravitate to a certain aspect of news that you really enjoyed?
I really for a while in the early 90s, I did a weekly segment, an environmental segment, because that's when acid rain was going on. Climate change wasn't a thing quite yet, but recycling was big. So I did a segment every week called The Green Piece, like not piece like Greenpeace, but here's a piece of news kind of thing. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. How many different shows did you do? Because I know there's Morning Live, I know there's Greenpeace.
Okay, well,
that
was like a segment within the. So I did the Morning Market, was my first kind of anchoring gig. So it was a business show, and it was literally, there were two of us working in the morning, and it was a record to tape. And then my camera / editor person, he would cut everything that, that taught me a lot about writing and how fast you had to be to get things and time it all, because it could only be 3 minutes. It couldn't be any more than that because it ran in this wheel.
Yeah. 2015 was a trying time at CHCH, at bankruptcy. What do you remember about that time, and how did you feel about the institution and the industry?
I felt very, well, I think I had been through, I'd survived 2 or 3 sets of layoffs before then. And I knew things were not great industry-wide. Right. But for me, it was a day of huge confusion because I had been off on surgery, and I wasn't coming back yet until like after. And so people on the morning show were like, hey, at first it was like, we got our Christmas bonus early, and it ended up being a payout. And then I'm like, oh, and then I tried logging in to my work email from home, and I couldn't get in. And I'm married to an IT guy, so I know that when you lose your job, you get locked out. Right? And so I'm like, oh no, this is bad. And then with all the hubbub and the confusion of that day, I didn't know whether my name was called in the room where you kept your job or the room where you didn't keep your job. And so I didn't know until the next morning.
Wow. That must have been entirely scary, not knowing what was coming next.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it was enormous guilt.
Yeah.
Right? Because so many of my friends lost their jobs.
Right. Yeah. And you're thinking, why me? Why am I sticking around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Afterwards, though, CHCH has become this pretty cool place. Your thoughts on
very cool place.
How it rose from the ashes?
Yeah. And I know that there are still a lot of bitter feelings about the bankruptcy, and you try and get past that. But yeah, just seeing what the current owners have done. Like, I mean, we're in this fantastic building, and there's just different ways of approaching news now. Like with our digital side and the podcast side, and they realize we have to grow along with audiences, because we had a story today that this is the first year where more people are getting their news from social media and AI chatbots than traditional news. So I'm so appreciative of the community that we've built here, that, people know you and I when we go out, or when we're in our neighborhoods in Hamilton, and that means they're watching. So very appreciative for
the story
that.
that you're referring to with people getting their information on social media or AI, I mean, with the amount of disinformation that's out there and fake news, I mean, that's where it really lives. That's a scary place.
It's so scary because I even see now on like my Facebook feeds or my Instagram feeds, I'll see like pages that are set up in Hamilton or set up in Niagara or Halton, and that they're run by a person, but maybe not a person with journalism background. So you don't know the media laws, you don't know the media ethics of what's to be done, and some of the stuff that gets posted there, and some of the videos that get posted there, it's like, oh, you're not supposed to do that,
there's certain standards.
But yet people, if you don't know the difference, if you're kind of not educated in how to consume news, you would think, oh, well, that's, why aren't we seeing this on? And we will get that sometimes. I remember there was a case of a fight and a bullying situation at a school, and people were wondering, well, I can see it all this video on that the kids took from this school. I can see all that on my social media feed. Why can't you run it? And there are laws and ethics and rules that we have to follow.
Over 40 years, you must have a funny story or two, maybe a blooper or something that went awry.
So many bloopers, so many bloopers.
Did any come to mind?
Not that I can remember, but I just remember like having great fun because there's this pressure cauldron in a newsroom, right? Where it's just like we have really odd senses of humor, and
it is very true.
It is true, and you don't realize it until somebody from the outside comes in. I remember when my husband and I, when we were first dating, he came to pick me up for lunch or something, and so he sat in the control room, and he's like, we laughed, and he's like, "Wow, like it." If I worked, if I did anything of that at my job, we'd be fired. And I'm like, not that we're doing anything bad. It's just, it's a different environment, right? So it's fun, and we play tricks on each other, and it's
all in good fun.
Sometimes it's very dark humor, but it's how you cope.
Absolutely.
How you cope.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes from then to now, what is the biggest difference from 40 years ago or maybe 30 years ago to today?
It's immediacy and how quickly the public knows about something going on before we have a chance to get it out sometimes, right? Because it used to be that, it was actually news. Like we were telling you.
Yeah, people had no idea what was going on.
People had no idea that, unless they saw like, a huge fire in their neighborhood or something like that, you wouldn't know. And now, like, you can see it on your phone and probably know beforehand. So it's our duty to kind of thing to freshen things up and to bring what is new to that story.
Yeah, or verify something that's out there.
Or verify something,
What's next?
What's next? It is a summer of nothing.
It sounds like fun.
Or anything I want to do. I can't wait to stay up late. It's the silliest thing, but that is what I'm looking forward to. So maybe 10 or 10:30.
Wow, that is living on the edge.
I know.
But that is super late.
Yeah, it is super late for us.
Yeah, but beyond that, you have an exciting endeavor that's coming soon to CHCH in this kind of format.
Yes, so I'm going to be doing a podcast starting in the fall. It'll be like once a month, and it's going to be called Annette's Book Club.
Okay.
And I didn't even think that such a thing was possible when I told one of our owners. He was the first one that I told that I was retiring, and he's like, would you come back in some way? And this was like right over the same lunch that I told him. I'm like, were you thinking this already? But he's like, would you come back and do something with books? Because he knows I like interviewing authors has become one of my very favorite things, and getting to read books before they're out, and it's very cool. So would I do that? And I was like, oh, So I went into this lunch thinking, okay, it's finally a relief. I can let them know that, yes. And then I came away even happier from that lunch knowing that, well, this is exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to leave on your own terms, plus still stay connected to, the industry that you love.
Because
and talk to
I've made so many connections with authors and publishers and booksellers and libraries that it's like they're my people.
Mm-hmm. And you're not necessarily only going to talk about the book, but the person behind writing the book.
And different book events coming up and any changes in that industry too, because that's an industry that really changed. Like it was like when the ebooks first came out, it was like, oh, is this the end of books? And now you see no, it is not, because people are now collecting books to make libraries. Like, okay.
It's pretty sensational.
Yeah.
Last question for you. Do you have a message to our viewers?
Oh, just thank you. Thank you for letting me be part of your community, because from just connections that I've had from the different news programs that I've done, or just being a reporter, I've become endeared to certain organizations. I've got on boards of directors. I've volunteered, and it's just opening that window to the community even more. So thank you for allowing me into your organizations. Thank you for allowing me into your homes, and saying hello and checking out what's in my grocery cart at Fortino's or No Frills, and just saying hello on the street, and not just treating me like a normal person, which is all I wanted.
And that volunteerism is going to continue, right? Like, you're not going to retire from that.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, I mean, my time on all boards at the moment has it just naturally ended. Terms were ended, and I'm not looking to jump into that right away, because everybody who's already retired says, take 6 months off, take a year off, decide how things are going to, unfold for you.
Yeah.
So, but I'm like, okay, that's going to be hard for me to say, no.
Last question for you, actually. So you're retiring Friday. Monday morning, what time do you plan to wake up?
I'll wake up whenever I wake up. I think I'll probably, if I don't set an alarm, I tend to wake up around 4 or 5. So maybe my plan is, if that's what happens, I'm not going to set an alarm, but if that's what happens, I'm going to make myself a tea or a coffee and just go out on the porch and watch the sunrise. And then I'll be watching you guys on Morning Live.
Awesome. That sounds like a grand plan.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a joy to work with you for just over a year.
I know. I'm kind of disappointed. I thought it would be longer, but I'm like, I'm not waiting around just for Rick.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Thanks for teaching me a lot. I've learned so much from you in that year, and all the best in retirement.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for joining us on the Newsmakers podcast.
Thank you.
And thank you for checking out the Newsmakers podcast. A huge thanks to the all-star cast behind the scenes. If you like today's episode, click the thumbs up, hit subscribe. You can leave a comment as well. Catch the Newsmakers podcast on chch.com/podcasts and wherever you get your favorite podcasts.